Alright, I'm going to tell you first. Let's get little familiar with the Excel and the things which we use on daily basis when we work on the Excel. They are very frequently used, and then we'll start with the features which many people are not aware of, but they are actually, if you know them, then you can actually make your work very easy, and again at the same time it saves your time as well. So see, now let me tell you that this is a product of Microsoft which you must be knowing. So every year, or maybe after alternate or 3 years of span, now that is something which is not sure, that entirely depends on the Microsoft. They keep on coming with the different versions, right? For example, if you go in the market right now, you will see that the 2013 is the latest version of the Microsoft, right? And the previous version was 2010, and before that it was 2007, and then 2003, and then so on. We have the 2000 as well. We have the, I think, 1999 or 1998, I don't exactly remember, but the point is their programmers in their offices, they keep on inventing the new things, and they keep on adding those new features, the look wise, adding some new features, techniques, formulas, and whether it's a VBA programming or whether it's an Excel formula. So they keep on adding something new, and they keep on selling in the market. Now the major difference which you should know is that if somebody is using 2003 or the previous versions, which most of the offices are now not using at all, right? But still, if you come across, then there's a huge difference between 2003 versions and before the versions which came before 2003, and then at the same time versions which comes after 2007. So right now I'm using the 2010. So if you have installed 2010 or 2007 or 2003, you will be able to work very nicely. But if you have a 2003, then you will actually have to give a lot of time, because ultimately in 2003 they have not introduced many things, right? So we'll not go into that 2003, because that's something which is now kind of obsolete. Some companies may use it, but the companies where Excel is majorly used, they prefer now 2010 or 13. You could see 2007 as well, right? So that's how this Microsoft works. And they have another products as well, as you know, Microsoft Outlook for the emails. They have the Microsoft Access database, SQL Server. So every package, every software has its own reason to for Microsoft to develop it, right? So we'll discuss that as we keep on as we move ahead. Yeah, so right now it's not, I don't think so it makes sense to discuss those things, but first let's get familiar with the Excel environment. So you see that you have these tabs here: file, home, insert, page layout, formula, data, and review, view, and developers. And in every menu you have so many options which we'll explore, the major ones, right? So this is called the ribbon. Now this is something which was not available in the 2003 versions, or the before, whatever the Excel versions was there. They were like this. They didn't have any ribbon, as you can see right now. I have actually hidden this ribbon. So that's how their structure was. This basically the screen was. But now in 2007 they introduced this ribbon, and in this ribbon you can do a lot of things in terms of especially your special effects, in terms of your customizing the colors. For example, let me show you. Suppose I'm going to give this color to this text, and I'm going to change this color, let's say this one. Now what will happen is, if you're on 2007 or onwards version, then what you can do is you can directly select the color and you see their effect on the cell. But in 2003 and the previous versions, that was not like this. What we used to do is, we used to first select the color like this, and then used to press OK, and then Excel used to give us that how it is going to look. And if you don't like, then you again have to go back and you have to select another color and then click OK and then come back and see how it is looking. But in 2007 onward versions, this is what exactly, the significant thing which they have changed. You don't really have to click anywhere, just keep on hovering and it keeps on giving you the effects, and whatever the color you choose, then finally you can choose it and you can come out of it. So this is one of the major reason that 2007 onwards, actually Excel has again become so popular, right? And most of the developers, most of the people who are working in Excel industry, they actually have liked this 2007 versions very much, right? And that's the reason that after 2007, 2010 which they developed, that is again on the same theme. Now I'm using the 2007. If you go back in the 2007, again you'll see that you have a same kind of a screen, right? And again they have continued it in the 2013 as well, right? So what happens when people don't like the things, they actually immediately change them. They come up with a new version, and then they even pull out couple of things in case if people complain about it, right? So like in past, Microsoft even thought of pulling this VBA language from the Excel. They had some different plans, but then the people, because in every industry where there is a huge data presentation, people work on the automation, and so almost every company has a VBA programmers. They have made so many big programs with the help of this VBA language, which connects you with the other applications like Outlook, PowerPoint. So it was a big thing for the Microsoft when people started complaining, because then their projects were in threat. So this entire community of the Microsoft, the people who are using their product, they actually agitated a lot, and because of that reason, Microsoft again just changed their idea and they put it back, that programming language. Now you see that these are the generally rows, we call them rows, right? This is how you see that I have got here 10,48,576 rows in Excel. And if you similarly go back to the last column, you see that this is going to be my XFD column. Now how it works, if I want to tell you, if I want you to tell me that how many columns and the rows you have, then what you can do is, I'm going to select this column. This is how you select the column, right? You select here F, G, H. Now these are the columns A, B, C, D, E, and they always run like this, left to right. Whereas when I will be talking about the rows, I mean that this is how your direction would be, in a downward direction. So the point I'm trying to make is that in Excel, if you want to check how many rows you have and how many columns you have, what you can do is select this entire column and go to the last column like this. Select the entire sheet, and you see here you'll get that 10,48,576 rows and 16,384 columns, which means that you can use these many columns if you have a data, that much of data, right? And if you ever get the chance to work in 2003, then you would see that in 2003 and the previous versions, Excel had only 65,536, around this, I'm not sure about the specific number, but it was 65,500 something. The rows were very less. Now you see that they have increased the rows, and similarly they had around, I think, 216 columns, right? So now it is considerably increased. So now that means now you can enter more data, right? Similarly, you have these sheets. You can add these sheets through this icon, you see, or you can even use this insert Shift F11, which is the shortcut key. Now right now, let me just write it down. I'll give you a shortcut key summary as well, so you really don't have to remember, go to every workbook day on day and see. I'll give you the one workbook where then you will have all the shortcut keys. And the best way to learn shortcut is not to remember them, try to remember them, but when you actually work on the Excel and you feel like that there has to be some shortcut key, then go there and search for it. This is how you actually should learn the things, right? So Shift F11 is a shortcut key which if you press, then a sheet will be created. Now you see I'm on the sheet 7, and if I'm going to press shift F11, sheet 8 will be created, sheet 9 will be created, sheet 10 will be created. Now I'm not using any mouse. No problem, no problem. So I was telling you shift F11 can also create the sheet for you, right? So if I'm going to press shift 11, see the sheets are getting inserted, right? So you can insert the sheets through this way as well. Now very important thing, if you are in a situation where you want to delete multiple sheets, for example you have a sheets, let's say 50-60 sheets in your Excel, and you want to delete them. So how you will delete them? Now for example, we have a sheet 32 and I want to delete sheet 32, 31, 30, 29 and so on till 20. So manually, if you don't know this trick, then what will you do? You will simply right click here and you delete it. Sheet is going to be deleted. 31 is deleted, 30 is deleted. But what if you want to delete multiple sheets in one step? Now see, then I have selected this sheet 29, and if I have to delete all these sheets in a sequence and till let's say sheet 17, so what I will do is I select this sheet and now I'm going to press shift key. So I'm pressing my shift key and now I'm directly going to the sheet 17 and I'm going to select this sheet 17, and I've still pressed shift key. The moment you do that, you see that all the sheets coming away between sheet 29 and sheet 17 will be selected automatically. Now if you have your multiple sheets selected, what you can do is just click on any sheet, right click and delete them. Now when you press delete, all the sheets will be gone. Similarly, now let's say you want to delete sheet from sheet 16 to a sheet 9. So I'm going to press I'm going to select first sheet 16 and then going to press shift, and then I'm going to select this sheet 9, and all sheets are selected, so I'll go ahead and I'll delete them. And now data may exist in sheet. Now see, previously when I deleted there was no prompt. Why this time the prompt came? Because in these sheets, I don't know which sheet now it is, there is a sheet where I have written something, right? And that must be sheet number 1, because that's the sheet where I have written that shortcut key for you. So it is going to give you an alarm, a pop-up, that are you sure you want to delete it, right? So if I say delete, then it is going to delete it. Now I can delete this sheet as well. Now remember one thing, now we have just one sheet left in Excel, and now if you are going to delete it, Excel will not allow you. What it says is that there has to be at least one sheet open, right? You can't delete one sheet if there is just one sheet, right? So that's the first thing, how you actually work on the shift keys. So shift key is used to apply one action on multiple objects. When I say objects, I mean it could be workbook, it could be sheets, it could be cells, like this. I'm going to, let's say I'm writing something here. Now see this is very interesting. If I ask you to delete this entire table, let's say this is a table. Now there are a number of ways of deleting it. You can even delete this entire column, select the column and delete it. Okay, so this will be deleted. Now press Ctrl Z, it's undo command. And what else you can do? you can do this as well. Delete key, keep on pressing the delete key. Or one thing which you can do is you can simply select this cell and press shift key and use your this down arrow. You see that the selection is going on and you can delete it now. So this is how the shift key works. Now if I ask you to delete specific numbers, let's say, let me bold them. This is how you bold from here under this home tab, right? Bold them. Let me bold them. And let me also make them italic. This is how you make them italic. Now if I ask you to delete these bold numbers, how will you do that? You will do like this: delete this, and delete this, right? So it has taken almost 3-4 seconds, and if the data was huge, then probably it would have taken more time. Yeah, so now you can use the shift key here. Reason being, because shift actually works when you want your data, to be selected in a sequence. Now if I'm going to press shift and I'm going to select, let's say, this 33, you see that whatever the number comes between 56 and 33, they'll also be selected, and that's the problem. So when you want your selection to be, let's say, you want the selection on the random numbers, not in a sequence, you, instead of using the shift key, you use control key. Let me show you. I'm going to select this, I'll press the control key, and now I select this, and I can select anywhere. See, now once I have all the selection, now what I can do is I can simply press delete key like this, and the numbers will be deleted. Now control key, I pressed control key. One is the shift key and one is the control key. So control key, we use control key when selection, yeah, exactly, when selection is, let's say, on random cells, and when your selection is in a sequence, then you use the shift key. Now similarly, I'm going to give you example how you can delete the sheets as well. If you want to delete specific sheets, not like from sheet 1 to sheet 5, right? Let us insert some sheets. Now so far I have told you 2 ways of inserting a sheet. One is the shift F11, right, which I have written here. That's the shortcut key. One is you click on this tab. Now you see, when you Manmeet, when you hover your cell here, it even says the shortcut key, shift F11. Now that's the second way. What is the third way? The third way is right click here and say insert. When you say insert, by default your Excel will have your this worksheet selected. So just say nothing, you simply need to say OK. Now when you say OK, sheet 3 will be inserted. Sheet 33 will be inserted before sheet 7. Now you might be wondering that why it was not sheet 8 or why sheet 1, sheet 2. See, once whatever the sheet you will create in Excel, and if you delete it, it will never be back. If you have to get it like specific name, you have to rename it. Now I have sheet 33. The moment I delete this, and if I now again insert a sheet 34 would be the next, because in Excel, in its memory, it stores all the things. So if I have to give this a sheet 1 name, then how I can give? I can double click here, and if you don't want to use the double click, then simply right click here and see that rename. So you have all the options here. If you want to insert, if you want to delete, if you want to rename. So let's right now click on the rename. The moment I click on the rename, it is highlighted. Now I can delete it and I can write whatever I want to write. So I'll say that, let's say day 1. Okay, and then this is how this sheet will be created. Now let me insert couple of sheets here. Now what if you have a task of deleting couple of sheets, and let me color them, and you will also come to know that you can even color the sheets which are very important to you. So what happens when MIS people, they work on the Excel, normal on an average, I mean a person who is working on Excel but he's not a MIS man, then he might be having 5-6 sheets in a Excel in this workbook, right? But when we people work, we people actually can have 20-25 sheets. Now in those 20-25 sheets, if you have any issue with any of the sheet, or maybe you want to just put a kind of a reminder that every time I open this workbook, that sheet should be visible to me, that sheet should have some distinguished quality, your attention should be there the moment you open. So you can color the sheets, you can color the tab. What I mean is, suppose now this is my day one and it has some errors, you have some, or you might have written something very important. So what you can do is, you can right click here and you can give this tab color a red one or a yellow one, whatever you want to. So the moment I do this, and if I select any other sheet, you see that this is colored now, right? So you can even, for your own reference, you can even color couple of sheets, like we are going to do this. Let's keep them red. Right click, tab color, and give the color red, like this, right? So now the task is, you have to delete which sheet? Last sheet is 45. Yeah. See, when you are on the sheet which you have colored, then you won't be able to see it, right? Yeah. So you have to go off from this sheet, and then you will be able to see it. Now the task is, okay, so let me ask you, so what if we want to delete all the sheets from here, day 1 till sheet 44? Yeah. Okay. And now? So how will you delete it? If you mean that, yes, and delete it. Okay, all right. Now I'm not going to delete it because this time the question is different. But now how will you come out of this? You have to select. Okay. Yeah, no problem. So alright, so now we don't need this, so we'll select any other sheet, so that these highlighted sheets they will be back on their original positions. So now all the things are back, and now what we want to do is, now the task is to delete these highlighted sheets, the colored sheets. Now you can't use the shift key, right? Okay. So I've selected this day 1. Alright. Right click. Alright. Okay, let me tell you, you are almost correct actually. See, alright, so one thing very important. If let's say you want to delete all the sheets, so you press shift and then you go to the last sheet and select it. So all the sheets are going to be selected, right? Once you have your selection process done, then if you let's say select this cell and then try to delete it, it is not going to give you anything. because this is on the spreadsheet, this is on the sheet. This option we use when we want to delete anything on the cell, but you want to delete the sheet. So remember, you have to hover on any of the sheet, whichever sheet you want to, and then once your cursor is on that tab, exactly the sheet tab, then right click. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So this is what now we are going to do. Let me select the sheet 7. Now day 1 I have selected. Now sheet 38, sheet 41 and 44, they are to be selected, and we can't use the shift key. So I'm going to press control. I have pressed the control. Now I'll select this. Now if you know the Excel, then I would say that if you know only Excel, then yes, this is something you have to do. But otherwise, if you know a VBA, you can make a program, and within just nanosecond, this can be done. Yeah, so there is no comparison. As I said that day, advanced Excel can make you very awesome, but if you are going to compete with somebody who knows the VBA, then obviously you will not be able to achieve what exactly he can actually do the things in Excel. So there will always be a big gap, right? Alright, so now click on any sheet, highlighted sheet, and delete it. So they will be deleted. Since there was no data within the sheet, so it did not ask you for any prompt, the pop-up, right? So this is how we work in the sheets. Now I'm going to tell you one thing, one more feature which is very interesting, and this is something which a lot of time we use it. Let me first change this to day 1 so that we should not delete it, and let's also give it a color red so that I should never think of deleting it. Alright, now see, what if you have worked on this sheet. Now what you want to do is you want to create its copy. Now this is a sheet which has, let's say, your entire strategies. Maybe you have shown how you have grown up, and whatever the bill generation, the invoices, numbers, everything is there. This is a very critical sheet for you. But now what happens is you want to do some changes in your hierarchy, in your program, in your maybe a kind of a project which you have initiated. So you want to bring couple of more things into that, and you want to remove couple of things which are unnecessarily there. Now keeping the same sheet as it is, because it is always going to be a risk. Let's say you have done some changes here, and then later you save the file, and then later you realize that no, the changes are not good actually, right? So keeping a backup copy is always nice. So how you do it? Let's say this is a very important sheet, and let me write a couple of things here. Let's say there is a formula here. Let's say something, and this is some sort of a number, let's say $105, right, for you. Now you are seeing this sheet, and you are in a more of a like R&D process, and you want to take this revenue up maybe by 105 to 100 and let's say 20, and you want to do a couple of things that if I increase this percentage, which is the production percentage, then how the things would go. So since you're a beginner, so what you want to do is you want to ensure that this data should be stored as it is. So how can you do that? Now see, again I'm focusing today on the right click. I'm almost going to tell you each and everything about the right click. So now you want to keep this copy, so select the sheet, right click here, right, and move or copy. Click here. Once you click here, it will give you this window. Move selected sheet, the sheet which you have selected. Do you want to move this, or you want to actually create a copy? If you say that I want to create a copy, check mark this. Now where you want to create a copy? If you say that in this day 1 workbook, now this is our name, right? You see here the title bar, that's the name of my workbook, so that's why by default it is showing up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that move to end. if I say move to end, then this sheet will be, another sheet will be created, another copy of this day 1 will be created, and it is going to move to the end, which means after sheet 35. So let's press OK. The name will also be same, but Excel can't have the two sheets having same name. Remember, if I'm trying to, let's say, double click here, and if I try to name this day 1, and the moment I select any other cell, cannot rename a sheet the same name as another sheet. Okay, so you have to you can rename the file. You can put the space, or maybe you can write anything, maybe day 1, like some sort of that thing. So the point is simple, that you can't have two sheets with the same name. That's why when you created a copy, Excel itself created its second copy. Now if you again go right click and you say move a copy, move to one, absolutely. So this is how. Later on, of course, you can rename it. As I said, you can click here rename, and you can say here that my analysis. Alright, or maybe you can say that do not delete this. This is just for your some observations. Now once you do the things, you see that alright, so let me increase this, and you did all the things, you added some comments here, let's say that this is a good deal and all that stuff, and finally when you see that alright, so the sheet looks very nice, what you can do is, since you know that the day 1, whatever the data was in the day 1, it is already in this sheet. In fact, I have added a couple of more things, right? So what I can do is, I can even do now couple of things. Now what I'm going to do is, since this is my new sheet with the new numbers, and also given the fact that it is holding up all the previous data which I copied from day 1, so I'm going to name this as a day 1 now, and this I will name it as some sort of this jump, whatever you want to write. And what I will do now is, I will right click here and I will hide it like this. So this will be gone. This is not deleted now, this is stored there. You want to keep a backup, so that if tomorrow something wrong happens, you realize that, then you can actually retrieve those numbers. And in this sheet where you have worked, and you finally you know that everything is set, and there is no need to now catch up that old file, you can further go here, double click, or maybe right click and rename, and you can give this a name day 1. So that's something you can do, right? And if you ever want to see that sheet again, what you can do is just click here on any sheet means any sheet, and click here unhide. The moment you click unhide, your sheet will be visible. Now if you have 10-15 sheets hidden, then you can use this option, but the point is you have to click every time this unhide option. You can't select the sheets when you want to unhide them in one step, right? So you have to do it manually, one by one. If you have 15 sheets, then means it is going to take 15 steps. So I'm going to press OK, and now I'll be back on my junk sheet, right? So I'm again going to hide this, and the shortcut key to hide the sheets is Alt plus O plus H plus H. So now I've selected the sheet, I'll press Alt O H H, and the sheet is going to be hidden. If I press Alt O U H, U means unhide, then this will be back. Alt O H U. So let me take it back. Let's check again. Let me first hide this Alt O H H, and now Alt O H U. Yeah. Nice catch. Alright, what else you can do with this? So let me just rename this again, A1, and just let it be there, no problem. Or maybe we can delete it. Now I can even delete this with the help of shortcut key, which is Alt L. If I say that Alt L, this will be again, this will prompt me that you have some numbers, and if I say delete, then this sheet will be deleted, right? So when you want to delete the sheet, select the sheet and press Alt EL. If I select this, Alt EL, this will be gone because there was no data, so it didn't even ask me, right? So this is L actually. Now give me a second, let me bring my charger. I'm just coming, huh? Hello? Yeah, I'm coming. Yeah. Alright, sorry, actually I wasn't working in my room because I think the electricity is not there, so I have to move to another room. Alright, yeah, so that's the shortcut key. And now what else you can do with this right click and move or copy option. Let's say now this is the sheet. I'm going to drag this here. Right, so this will be moved. Now let's see what else we can do. Move a copy, and now I'll say that this time I don't want to create a copy within this workbook, which is day one. What I want to do is I want to create another workbook, right, another file, Excel file, which has nothing to do with this day one. So I select this new book and I'll say create a copy. Now when you click OK, you see that there is an entirely new workbook created. So you can even do that. Not necessarily that you have to move your sheet within the workbook, but you can even do it outside. Yes, data will remain same, no changes. Exactly. Now see, this workbook has only one sheet, right? So this is a new workbook which you created because you have moved only one file, you have copied only one file, but in your day one, rest of the sheets, they will not be copied. Only the sheet which you copied, that will be there. Now I have here day one as well. That's the sheet, right? Yeah. So day one is also there, but in this new workbook only day 2 is showing up. Getting my point? Because you have created a sheet, not all the sheets. A workbook can have n number of sheets. So whatever sheet you will copy and take it to the new workbook, only that sheet will be available there, not the others. Right? So let's say if I write here something, let's say. Right, and now this is a book 1. I'm going to close this. Do you want to save? No, I don't want to save it. That's fine. Now I have 3 sheets here. Now this time I'm going to right click on the sheet 48 and say move or copy, and I'll say that new book, right, and I say OK. Now sheet 48 will be created in a new book, which is book 2, and then further you can save this if you want. So if I come back to my day 1, you see that the sheet 48 is not there. You're getting the point? This time it is moved, it is not copied. And why? Because, let me show this again. Let's create this and let's say testing. If you have a task that you want to keep your copy as well, and at the same time you want to create a new workbook having that sheet, then what you will do is, obviously you will not move it. You click on move or copy, and then when you click on the new book, you will check mark this. If you check mark this, then this testing will remain here, and at the same time its copy is also going to be created in the new workbook, which is book 3 now, right? Alright, so yeah, exactly, so obviously you can hide them, in case if you think that for somebody who is going to see the 2 files having almost same name, it's confusing, and maybe for somebody it doesn't make any sense, that whatever the R&D you have done, why would somebody be interested in that? So you can hide it, after creating a copy of it, you can hide it. Nobody would go and see the what sheets you have hidden, right? So let us delete this Alt E L. Data may exist. I want to delete this. Similarly, what else we can do? Tab color is already there. Protect sheet is something which I will be telling you. That's entirely a different chapter, and it's in a day 1 actually. And this is how you can even say select all sheets. So this is, you see, without the sheet help of the shift key, you can even select all the sheets, right? And if you want to come back, then ungroup the sheets, you will be back. If you don't want to use the, let's say, shift key, then you can right click here and select all sheets. All the sheets will be selected, and if you want to come back, say ungroup, you will be back on your sheet. So these sheets will not be showing up. So let me select all these sheets with the help of the shift key, and now instead of using the right click on the sheet tab, I'm simply going to press Alt E L, which is a shortcut key to delete the sheets. Alright, so far any questions? All well, things are Looking easy? Alright. Mm-hmm. 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 Copy of which? Day 1. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Wherever you can, if you have some existing workbook, you can open that and you can move it. Let me show you. Now, so far we have learned two things. One is you can create a copy within this workbook, or you can create a copy and take it to the new workbook. New workbook means which is not existing, right? It is going to be opened in a fresh manner and then you will save it, right? Right. Right. Okay. Yes, you can do it. Let me tell you. Since you have asked this question, so let us try to connect this question not only with this how to create the backup of this, but also how to protect it, so that a person, if he tries, even attempts to open the workbook, then he is going to be asked a password, and if he knows the password, he can access. Otherwise, he will not be. Now remember, Excel is not such a powerful tool that nobody can actually break your code password. On this internet, there are thousands of utilities. The tools are available, which actually, if somebody wants to break the password, they can, right? So that's something where you can say that Excel is still, it's not up to the mark, right? Anybody can break the code, but that is something very rarest of rare case. Nobody would like to do that. In case if you're sitting in an office environment, yeah, we can always do that, because breaking a password from the human perspective is not possible at all, right? Alright, so now let's say this is the standard copy, and what you're doing is every day you're getting some data and you're pasting it here, and some formulas are giving you some results, and then through that, so this is more of a template which is being in use on daily basis. So what you do is, I'm going to create a new workbook and I'm going to press Control N. Okay, just like you use the insert sheet, so you have to use the insert workbook, a new workbook which I mean. Then what you'll do is Control plus N, or you can even use the existing workbook. The choice is yours. If I press Control N, see what will happen. See, a new book is created. N. Okay, Control N. Otherwise, if you don't know this option, or maybe if you don't like this option, let's say, then what you can do is you can go to this program and you can write here Excel and press enter. A new Excel will be opened. Well, yeah. Alright, so now let's say this is your template where you have pasted this data for yesterday, and you got some new numbers because there are some formulas applied there. And now what you do is you just copy this and you paste this here, right? And now, since this is your now the data for yesterday, and this one is your template where you will every day you will put the new data. Every day you will copy the new data. So obviously you would not like to save this, right? So I go to this sheet where I have copied the new output for yesterday, and I'm going to save this. So I'm going to save this on my desktop now. You can save it wherever you want. So let's click on the desktop and I'm gonna name this, let's say yesterday it was I think 19. Yeah, exactly. Right now I'm saving on the desktop, but you can even create a folder on the desktop and then underneath that you can save a file. So yeah, you can if you have the rights. Like on my personal computer, this is my own laptop, so I can do that. But sometimes IT people, what they do is they restrict, companies, employees, to some particular hard drives like F drive, D drive. They can't access it, but generally C drive is accessible to all. So you can even save this to your My Documents. So I'm going to save this now. Now this file is saved, and let me close this with the name of 19 July. Now when I close this file, it will ask me, do you want to save the changes, because new data was pasted here, right? I'll say no, right? Because tomorrow, now let's say on Tuesday I'm back again and I have received the data for today, which is Monday. I again open this file. This file is standard, and then again I paste the Monday's raw here, and I get some output because there are some formulas, and again that I copy that file and I go to the Control N and I paste it here, and I save that with the date, let's say 20th of January, and I close it, right? So what is happening is we are not allowing this template to override the previous things. We are just using it and then we are closing it without any changes, because whatever the output is coming, we are saving it in the different workbook and they are there. Now let's say you want to keep those files password protected. So I'll go to the day one, not the day one but the one I created, which was I think 19th July. As you can see here, 19th July, I open this. Now what I want is, this is a very critical data, so let us protect this. Now see Mummy, this is a very interesting thing. I'm going to tell you 3 types of protection. One is where user can view the data but cannot edit it, and that's quite, read only. That's quite simple. Go to the sheet, select the sheet which you want to protect, and in review tab, protect sheet. Protect sheet. So give the protection password, let's say 1. I'm going to give this 1. That's it. Now I can see this. I can see the data, and let's say, let me try to manipulate this. Let me try to delete this. I can't do this. Okay, it is saying that you need to first. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just forgot. No, that can't be. That's not possible. So Alt T P P is the shortcut key to protect and to unprotect as well. This. Press Alt T P P. See what will happen. Alt T P P. You will be on this window. Otherwise, what you can do is you can go to the review tab, under review tab. In this ribbon under review tab, you see this protect sheet. Let us protect this by giving the password, let's say 1. Okay, it will again ask the same password 1. And now let me try to write something here. I cannot write, you see, right? But I can view it. If I have to write something, I'll again go to the review, or I will press again Alt PP. So it will ask me for the password, and give the password to unprotect, which is 1, and now I can edit it. Right now, that's the protection which still allows user to view the data. Now let's move to the protection number 2, which is more of an advanced, and in that a user will not be able to see the data unless he enters the password. So how it is going to be done? So what we'll do is, we'll go to the file, Okay, and we click here save as option, and in this save as option you see here tools, click here and general option. It will ask you password to open. Right, I'll give the password 1. Now you can password to modify is a different thing. Now they say that there might be some people in your company, in your team, you know, wherein you just want them to open and view the data but not to modify. And at the same time there may be some very brilliant people, or maybe you know, on whom you are very dependent, wherein you want them to give this modify access as well, that open it and do whatever you want to do and then send me back, right? So you can keep the password, either you can keep it same for both the things, password to open and password to modify. If I'm going to leave this password to modify as a blank, then it means that everybody can give this password when this workbook will open, and can give the password and can have the access and can edit the file. If I leave this like this, okay, and then I re-enter the password 1, and now I am going to save it, right? So we have not given any access password, right? So if I have some different motive, now I'm going to give here password as a 2, because I want that you should be able to open my file, but if you are going to modify it, first give me the password, and the password to modify is different from the password to open. So for this open we have given the password 1, and for this modify we have given the password 2. Now I'll say OK. Re-enter password to modify. So password to modify I will have to write again, which is 2, and I'll press OK, and thereafter I'll save this. Do you want to replace it? Yes. Now in order to see it's, you know, whether these changes are effective or not, applied on this Excel or not, we have to first close this file. So let us close this. I don't require this 19th July, that was just for your reference. So let's go to my folder where I have created this file under your name. Let's open this now. Okay, you see this? So what is the password to open this? 1. I give 1. You see this now again? Enter password for write access. If I don't have it, you have not given me, then ultimately I will not be able to write anything. So what I will do is I'll open this as a read only, and I can see the data. Okay, and if I write something like this or like this, and if I try to save it, it will not allow me. You can't save this. This is a read only, so you have to create a new workbook for this, a copy. Alright, so now let me just close this and reopen this, and this time we'll see that how it is going to act if I give the modify password. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that is editable. We are coming to that. See, I'll tell you. Basically, the purpose of this password protection is that user should not be able to work on your sheet. If he wants to do anything else with the, with this sheet, then keep a copy, make a copy, and do whatever you want. But unnecessarily don't create a panic for my sheet, because I have done a lot of hard work on it, right? There are a lot of formulas. But I will answer your this question in my third protection. There he will not be able to create it. Alright, so now the password is 1. I press OK. Now I know the password because you have given me the password, so I'll write here 2 and I'll press OK. Now you see this is open and there is no read only mode if you see the title. And I can now add whatever. So I would say that project looks nice. And now I'll save this. I'm going to save Control S, and this is saved, and I'll send it back to you, right? Alright, so this is how you can use this protection, second protection, which is more of, I would say, intermediate level. Now let's come to the next protection, which is a protection, advanced protection, wherein you can select the partial sheet, but at the same time you can actually restrict your user to select the other portion of the sheet. So means couple of cells will be protected, couple of cells will not be protected. Right now what you have learned is either sheet can be protected as a standalone sheet, right, or a workbook can be protected. But what if within a sheet you want to protect couple of things, but rest of the cells a user should be able to edit it. Now I'm going to write here, let me increase its size. Let's say you have this company A, company B, company C, company D, and let's say you have some real numbers, sales, they have done some sales. Now let us generate here a formula, which is a very simple formula. I'm just simply going to sum them. It could be some vital formula, very important formula, which you don't want to show and which you don't want user to destroy or to edit it, maybe deliberately or maybe unknowingly. So now what we want to do is we see that I say give a go ahead here, right? So this entire piece, let me color it, this we want to protect when we send this file. But at the same time, if you want to add something, you want to give your inputs, you can write it here. These all cells are for you, but you will not be able to do anything on these cells. We will protect them. Now see how we are going to protect them. First of all, you have to select this entire sheet, or you can press Ctrl A. Like suppose if I press Ctrl A, this will select. I will again press Ctrl A. Now the entire sheet is going to be selected. Okay. So, or you can use this triangle, which is right over this first row and column A. Yeah. Click here. Now, right click, go to the format cells. Okay, go to the format cell and then underneath this protection, make sure that everything is unlocked. So uncheck this option. I'm going to press OK. Now what does that mean is that now you have unlocked the every cell. So it means that if you click on this cell and right click and go to the format cell, and you see that this is not going to be locked. Lock means for the protection. Now what cells we want to lock is we'll select them. Now I want this cell as well, so you know that I can't use the shift key, because if I use the shift key then these blank cells will also be selected. So I know that how I can do it. I'll first select this with the help of the shift and the right arrow, and then I press Control and I select this. Okay, so all the cells are selected now. I'll right click and I'll go to the format cell. Yeah, this one, lock. Now I'm back. Now I can check if they are locked or not. See, this is locked. If I select this, you don't see this lock, right? So now what you can do is again go to the same protection, review, protect sheet, and here you give the password 1. Now I want you to pay attention here, which says that allow all users of this worksheet to select locked cells and to select unlocked cells. What does that mean? That means if you want your user to select these cells, then this option should remain as it is checked. But this time what I want is they should not be able to even select the cells. So I'll uncheck this. Now user of this worksheet is allow only to select unlocked cells, and I know that C, D, E, F, all these columns are unlocked, so he will be able to select, and I'm gonna press OK. Re-enter the password 1. That's it. Now can I write something here? I can write here. Good to go. We'll have discussion. Let's say people have given their feedback. Now somebody was, just trying to see that what formula you have written here, how this number has arrived. So I'm going to select this. See, I can't select this cell. I'm trying to click and I can't even select anywhere here in this yellow region, right? And even if you try to, I'll show you this. See this. See this. It's not going there. It's jumping this, right? So that's why. Now, if you have protected this, then this can't even be selected, and that's the answer to your question. Nobody can make a copy. People can copy this stuff and can take it to their worksheet and do whatever they want, but nobody can copy this column because you have protected it, right? So now there is one more thing which I want to tell. Let me first unprotect this. Now you might be in a situation, now that again depends upon the choice, or maybe how the requirement is, but you can even allow your users to select these cells, but at the same time they cannot edit it. The only thing which you need to do is same steps which we have done. Will not again do the same thing. I'll simply go to the protect and I'll make this select, and I'll give the password. Now allow all users to select the locked cells, so he will be able to select the locked cells, but since it is a protection, so he cannot edit it. Now see this, I can select now, I can view the formula as well, right? But if I try to write here something, it will not allow me, but at the same time if I write something here, it is going to allow, right? So this is how you do the things. Now again, see this is again a very good option. You want your users to select these locked cells, and we know that they can't edit it, but at the same time if you want that if there is any formula, that formula should be invisible. I can select the cell, but I cannot see that what formula is applied here. Alright, so what you can do is right click on this cell. First you need to unprotect the sheet. Password is 1. Go to the cell, right click format cells and make it hidden. Only this cell, right? Not the rest, because in rest we don't have any formula. Now go to the protect sheet again and say 1. Now I'm going to select this, but the formula is not visible. See. So this is what actually hidden option does. If I select these values, you see that in formula bar I can see the numbers, this, but I can select the cell but I can't see what formula is there. So there we use the hidden option, right? So that's it for today. Let's first see that how you're gonna be doing these things at home. And so Manmeet, the idea is tomorrow we will be able to finish up the day 1, because today, whatever you do, just let me know how good you were at, and I will take a kind of a 10 minutes of test. I'll ask you tomorrow when we meet, and if I see that whatever you have done so far, you have actually done it quite well, then we will try to finish up the day 1 within tomorrow, and then thereafter, once your day 1 will be completed, I'll send you 4 or 5 assignments, and then you will be able to do that all together, right? So one thing more I want to tell you,